and welcome back to Rue's Life, and welcome to this month's Ponderings from the Polytunnel. It's an absolutely glorious day here. We've got blue skies outside and white fluffy clouds. I can hear the birds singing all around me. There's some bees buzzing around and we've had a few butterflies as well. It's absolutely beautiful. And we're in this spectacular period between Beltane and Litha. So between May Day and the summer solstice, between spring and summer, where we have this abundance of growth and new beginnings, and everything is lush and green and fresh. And it's a fabulous, fabulous time of year. And you can't help but feel energized and excited and really passionate about everything around us, but especially about what's growing. So one of the things that I did as we were approaching Beltane May Day was that I actually went to a new moon festival. It was organised by a couple of different groups, if you will, and it was about an hour's drive away, and it was absolutely lovely, and it was a really beautiful way to just relax and really embrace spring arriving, and it did me the world of good. So the plot and the garden and the polytunnel, I've got lots going on and I'm really pleased. Although I felt as though I was behind, I have actually caught up. I've got lots to go out. I've got some things that have already gone out, got loads going on here in the polytunnel. Across at the house I've got calendula, which are just, you know, they're abundant, aren't they? The more you pick, the more they come. And this year I'm actually harvesting those flowers, and I'm going to dry them and use them to make some oils and some balms. All the animals are fine. Kay was we were just waiting, I think, last time I did my ponderings for some results from a 24-hour heart monitor that she'd been wearing, and they've come back. She'll never be fine, but they've come back better than we expected. So she'll just continue having her 6-month checkups now. So she'd had an interim 3-month check, so she'll be due again July, I think, for her check, and then we'll go back to every 6 months, all being well. Kaylee's just Kaylee, same old, same old. The horses are looking wonderful because they've shed out their winter coats now, and they've got healthy, shiny coats, and they're looking and feeling great. The chickens are just loving at last being free, no longer locked down and being able to free range. Although I think it's going to take them quite some time to peck and work their way through the area that they're in the orchard, because it's grown so much. But they've got plenty of places to hide, and there's lots of bugs for them to go and peck out and forage, so they're having a grand old time. And they are in full lay, so we're getting plenty of eggs. The sheep are still down in what we tend to term their winter pasture, just because there was quite a lot of grazing there, so we're letting them munch that down. But it won't be long before we move them up, and they'll either go onto the menage field or into their front field, which is opposite the paddock that the plot is on. I'm absolutely loving being back in my old role at the vets, and I'm just loving the shifts. It's so rewarding. It's hard work and it's tough, but it's good. And I'm coming home buzzing. I'm really, really enjoying it. But what I'm being very mindful is to keep my work home life balance. That is so important to me. So lots of self-care, lots of mindfulness, lots of downtime, as I say, to keep that balance. And, you know, just going for walks, being here gardening, immersing myself in nature, reading books, all the things that help me to wind down and also to stay focused and grounded and energized. I had a lovely day out. I went to meet my parents in Llangollen. Dad was there for one of his train gatherings with his fellow train people, which left Mum there at a loose end. So Mum and I met up and had a little jolly around the shops. We had a coffee and we had lunch, And then we met up with Dad as well, and it was just really nice to see them and to catch up. And Llangollen's such a beautiful place. And then I was in Llangollen again with one of my big sisters, and you'll have seen if you've watched the video, she has a lovely camper van, Minty, and so we had a little jolly. We stopped off at Llangollen on the way, and then we carried on along the A5, and we stopped at Rhug Estate where they've got a lovely farm shop, and we picked up some lovely bits and pieces, and we had lunch, and then we carried on along the A5 into Snowdonia, and we stayed at a place called Llangwynant, which is just beautiful. It's in the heart of Snowdonia. It's almost at the foot of Snowdon. There's just one mountain between us and Snowdon. I can't for the life remember which mountain it is now. I should, but it's just beautiful, and there's a beautiful lake. I did pack my swimming gear. I was hoping to do some wild, well, it's not that wild there, but lake swimming. But it is a very, very cold lake because it comes off the mountains. So not only was it cold, it was quite windy and there was a lot of chop, and it would have been my first swim of the season, and I decided not to bother. But we had a lovely time, some lovely walking and just relaxing and chilling. We just stayed for one night, and then on the way home we stopped again at Rhug and just had a coffee. And then I can't think where we stopped on the way home. I can remember having cake. Oh, we had cake at Rhug Estate, and then pootled back here. Before having another cuppa, and then she went on her way. But it was a really lovely little breakaway. Chris and I also had a lovely day in Birmingham. We went to visit some of Chris's relatives, his auntie and cousin, and his cousin actually owns a lovely piece of woodland, and we haven't been to see it before, and it's just delightful. We spent a glorious day. Well, first of all we had cup of tea and had a look round Auntie Mag's garden. She has a beautiful garden, and it was lovely to just see what she was getting up to, and I'd taken her a few plants as well. She likes to grow vegetables as well, and she did us a lovely casserole for lunch, and then we went and met Sean at his woodland and had an absolutely lovely afternoon there. It was just beautiful, and he's got a wood burner which he got going, and we had a cup of tea, and yeah, it was just lovely, really, really nice before we drove home. So then on to books. I think last time I spoke to you in Ponderings, I'd actually been reading The Lincoln Lawyer, and I really, really enjoyed it, and it was the first book in the series, but amazingly they've brought this, I had no idea this was going to happen, they've brought the series out, I think it's on Netflix. So we've actually started watching it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But I probably won't read the next book simply because the series is like an amalgamation of all the books. So it was good that I read the book first, so I had those sort of characters in my head. But I'm really enjoying watching the series, and I can recommend it if it's something that you think you would enjoy, or if you're not sure about. I would recommend watching it. We're really, really enjoying it. And then at the moment, I'm reading just a really easy to read book, and it's called Welcome to Ferry Lane Market by Nicola May, and it's the first in a little series, and it's just one of those really easy to read, enjoyable kind of summer reading books, not too taxing on the brain. It's probably going to have a bit of romance, I think, in there, but it's my kind of book, you know. It's very descriptive. It's set in Cornwall, I think, and it's just lovely. Lots of sort of flowers and nature, and just my kind of thing. So I'm really enjoying that. And of course, we're coming up to the Jubilee celebrations, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm actually working on the bank holiday, which is next week, I think. But locally in our local village, they're going to be doing lots of celebrations, including the lighting of a beacon. So we're definitely going to go and try and go in the evening, all being well, so long as I can get away from work on time. I think I'm on a 10 till 8 in the daytime. They are doing cake baking competition, and I'm in two minds really whether to enter. I'd love to enter, but of course I can't get there in the day to put my entry in. Chris had very kindly offered that he would take my entry if I wanted to, but if we're not going to get there till late, I'm not sure. So I may or may not. So I'm either going to bake. They've got a sort of a technical challenge, if you like, for just a good old-fashioned Victoria sandwich cake, which I love baking, and with the free range eggs, they're always, delicious. If blow me and trumpet here, but they do make a wonderful cake. Or they're doing, I've forgotten what it's called, but basically, just a creation. And I do a few actually, sort of 3 or 4 layered cakes. I do a coffee and walnut one. I've done a chocolate one before, or a strawberries and cream layers, and it always looks quite impressive. I don't think it's that difficult to make, but it's always quite, people are always impressed when I make them. So I'm still in 2 minds as to whether I will or won't enter. My other idea is to do a red, white and blue. So layers of sponge with the cream for the white and blueberries and strawberries for your red and blue. So I'm still in 2 minds. I had actually bought a platter, a red, white and blue platter to serve it up on. And I was trying to get hold of some little bunting to put on the cake, but of course I've left it too late and it's all sold out everywhere. I'd ordered some little flags, but they're going to come too late because it'll be after the Jubilee. So yeah, may or may not enter the cake into the competition, but I'll let you know if I do in the next Ponderings. And theatre wise, we just haven't been. There's been an awful lot going on with me returning to my new job. And other bits and bobs going on, so we just haven't got out to the theatre, but it's on my to-do list to have a look, see what's going on at Theatre Clwyd, which is the theatre we like to frequent, and see if we can get some tickets. And there'll also be open air theatres starting soon. There's often, I think it's the Chapter House Theatre Company, and we usually try and see a couple of their shows a year locally, often at Erddig. I think they do some at Chirk Castle as well, and various other places, so that's something that we're hoping to do. So that's pretty much all that's going on here at the moment. I really hope that wherever you are, you're enjoying some of this wonderful weather. I hope that your growing's going well. Let me know in the comments below what you've been up to, what books have you been reading, what have you been watching, have you been for a nice holiday or a weekend or breakaway, any nice walks, have you been up into the mountains or to some lakes? Let me know what you've been up to. I'd really like to hear from you. So I'm now going to sit here and soak up the sun with my cup of tea. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.